Last month, I tripled the amount of self-study courses that I usually sell doing my standard lazy launching. And I wanted to come on today and talk about 6 of the things that I did differently, and it wasn't work harder. So you might have noticed throughout this year that I've been doing a self-study course launch about every other month, and that is aligned with creating these awesome programs within the Regenerative Business Creation Lab. But within each of these elements of what's within inside of Creation Lab are these hyper-focused self-study courses. So people can either join the full lab to get all of the courses, plus the community, plus coaching with me, or they can just do the self-study version. And the way that I've been marketing this is by if you join during pre-sale, essentially the course isn't done yet, the training isn't done yet, but if you wanna jump in as a pre-sale, you get 50% off what will be the final price. And I've done this a few times now. So I have some like standard numbers, expected numbers. So to triple sales is a big deal. It is notable. And one of the most important things that I did that I feel like made a massive difference is I did an actual launch event. And that's just the term I use for any sort of live thing. And you'll hear mine wasn't live, but some sort of live thing, this time restricted thing during a launch to give amazing value to your people and to have people who don't know you or don't know you that well get to know you better. This can be a webinar, a challenge, a 3-day live stream event. But in my case, because I prefer doing pre-recorded things and not doing things live, is I put out a pre-recorded free training. And this was a video training that I prepared for, that I recorded, that I edited, and then I put up on a watch page with a time limit. So people could opt in, they get access to the training, and after X amount of days, the training disappears. And it wasn't an evergreen thing. It was, I'm going to not remember the exact dates, but it was like, training will be dropped on July 18th, and the training will expire on July 25th, something like that. So while it wasn't live with me, there was a live element of the training being released and the training going away. And why I think this training made such a big deal for this launch was because of the name and I think the topic. The course that I was selling was Peak Visibility, which is all about the 4 visibility categories that you can lean into to grow your business. And only one of those is social media channels. All the other categories have nothing to do with social media. I mean, paying for visibility definitely has something to do with social media because it's usually running ads on a social media platform, but you don't actually have to do the engagement side of social engagement. And so the training, when I was sitting down and thinking about what do my people want? What is really exciting for them? What do I hear them saying? And whenever I do posts, I'm doing stuff off of social media, getting more visibility off of social media. Those posts always do super well. So the training I decided to do was 10x visibility without social media. And I did this all a few days before I had to travel to Vegas to go to a live conference, an in-person conference. So I was on a time deadline to get this training up and out there. And honestly, if I had more time, I probably would have been cheekier with the name and catchier with the name. And I'm so glad I didn't because I think I put out 5 posts promoting the free training and I sent out 2 emails to my email list and 1,200 people signed up. Now, I haven't done a free training in a while, so maybe that's just a new standard for me. But I was shocked by the number of signups that I feel like I didn't have to work hard at all for. And I know the reason is because of the name. It was speaking to what they wanted, visibility and growth without having to be on social media. And I was like barfing over the name because it felt super real marketing. But I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm running out of time. I have to go. I can't think of something cheekier. So we're just going to go with the most clear thing possible. And it made a huge difference. So many people signed up. I couldn't be cute about it. And being straightforward and giving people what they wanted, speaking to what they wanted, what do you know? It worked. So that's my first point. My second point is I grow my email list every single month. And 2/3 of the people who signed up for the free training were from my email list. Now, if you were listening to the numbers, I put out more posts on social media and I promoted it more on social media than I did to my email list. It was like 5 posts and I was posting on stories every single day in addition to that versus 2 emails sent. And that turned into 2/3 of the sign up. I've seen this time and time again for myself, for clients, that higher conversions comes from email list. Usually because there has been a deepening of the relationship, consent for more information, and there's less distractions. And even though I never check my email, I never read people's newsletters, it doesn't matter. So that's a pushback I hear a lot from clients is, but I never check my emails. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean your people won't. Okay, the third bit is that I over-delivered in the training and in my marketing. The free training and in my marketing, of course, being the free stuff I post publicly to my people to help them, whether or not they ever buy from me. So I was doing the basic stuff that you know to do of actually announcing your thing and talking about it a bunch and reminding them it's the last day and reminding them why they should join and telling them who the program's for, all of the basics, the standard sales launch stuff. But I was also super generous. I was teaching, I was telling stories. And in the training, the 10x visibility without social media, I'm like showing them how-tos, like step-by-step tech stuff on the back end. That took me hours to put together. And I did this because I believe my brilliance and I believe my creativity are never-ending wells. So I get to share it unabashedly. If you have any sort of whisper in the back of your head that, ooh, I need to gatekeep this, ooh, I need to not share this, ooh, I need to keep this behind closed doors. In some cases, yes, like you want to keep certain things within your program. But a lot of what you teach can be shared publicly. It's about accessibility to you. It's about step-by-step formulas. It's about all of the other resources you're giving within the program. So that like standard marketing saying of sell the why, not the how. I think that's an old paradigm way of thinking. I know multiple 7-figure business owners that actually pretty much give it all away and people still buy from them and they're at multiple 7 figures. And if you're someone who you ultimately want to be selling lower ticket items to higher volumes of people, you want to have more accessible pricing, a more accessible product suite, then this is usually the missing component. Okay, number 4. I talked about it every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I'm talking about when I was, because phase 1 of the quote unquote launch was talking about the training and sharing about the training, the free training. And then the second part, and I did that for pretty much 10 days. And then I moved into about 10 days of promoting the pre-sale pricing that it was going to be going away. So it was 20 days of posting every single day, talking about it every single day, mainly on Instagram, because that's my visibility channel of choice these days. At this moment, it can totally change in the future, but right now I'm really loving Instagram. And then a little bit via email. Now, this sounds like a lot of work, but it honestly only took like 15 to 30 minutes a day. And there were a couple times in there where I just sat down and I wrote 10 posts in one sitting. Like when I was traveling to Vegas and I was on a plane, a part of my plane ride, I was doing nothing but writing on various topics that I had already outlined. So that became like 8 posts in one sitting that I could then schedule out or that I could repurpose in various places. And when I was posting to stories, I was literally posting the exact same stories every single day because the repetition of it actually mattered. And trust builds over time. So continuing to show up and being the person who keeps showing up every week, every month, every year is what ultimately matters in the long term of your business. Okay, number 5. I gave people a reason to buy now. Now, I've already mentioned this, and this is something I actually do every single time. So it's not a special thing that I did for this launch, but people love not making a decision. They love being indecisive. They love, quote unquote, thinking about it, but they're not actually thinking about it. They're not thinking about it. So by having a deadline for the pre-sale, a deadline for when the price would double, I give people a reason to jump on the boat or stay on the beach. And finally, number 6, which is actually what I think the differentiating factor is, honestly, between number 1 and number 6. Number 1 of doing that free training and actually doing a launch event. When I never do it, I just write some things and share about it. But number 6 is I focused more on my physical body and my nervous system than I have in years. Now, I'm a super intuitive person. I have a lot of astrologer friends, and I'll mention things to them and be like, oh my God, that's so aligned with X, Y, and Z transit happening right now, where I'm just naturally attuned with the energy. And for whatever reason, at the beginning of July, on July 1st, I went hyper Virgo and drew out this spreadsheet of all of the new habits that I was committing to. And it was from this perspective of I already know exactly what works for me, but I'm not doing it. I exactly know what works and what has worked for me in the past in terms of my mind, body, spirit, and business, but I'm not doing them consistently. I know I should be eating vegetables every day, all 5 servings every single day. I know I should be walking. I know I should be meditating every single day. All of those things, not a should from someone else has told me, but I've been through various periods of my life where when I did them consistently, everything felt easier. Everything felt better. So I made this list of 15 items and I gridded it out and I was tracking every single day of the things. And it was meditating twice a day. It was walking 10,000 steps. It was not drinking. It was eating 5 servings of vegetables a day. It was dancing to 1 song a day. It was doing the 5 Tibetans. It was reintroducing transcendental meditation back. It was reciting 108 Lakshmi mantras. All the things that I've done in the past that have made notable differences. And did I do them every single day? No. It was actually fun to look back at the end of the month and see what percentage, which ones did I do? Was it really easy for me to do? And which ones were like, ooh, I only did that 2 days out of the entire month. But it was one of my highest energy months I've had in years. And it was also the highest revenue month that I've ever had in my business. Cash revenue, cash in hand, cash hitting the bank account, not just sales made that might come in the future. And I don't think they're separate. Focusing more on my physical body and nervous system, that really pointed to when tripling my revenue by way of 10Xing my visibility, I needed to care for me. I needed to care for my body. I needed to care for my energy capacity. And I actually did way more of the me stuff than any standard business strategy. I focused way more on my energy than my marketing. And now this doesn't work at all stages of business. If you don't have the foundations, if your messaging isn't speaking to the hearts of people, if your systems aren't in place, if you haven't been doing consistent audience growth, then more traditional business and marketing strategies matter a ton. That's that root system that needs to be grown underground. But I've been in this game for years. I've been actively doing all the quote unquote right things for my business for years. And so at this point, when my messaging is on point and my systems are on point and I have my visibility channels open, it's actually more about me and continually increasing my capacity to have, to hold, and to channel energy. So I hope you enjoyed this little launch recap, a little bit more of the behind the scenes. Of course, if you loved this episode, make sure you share it. I love seeing when people share the podcast on Instagram stories. I will always reshare what you put out. And it does such a big difference. It makes such a big difference for increasing the visibility of this podcast. So thank you if you've done that or if you're going to do that today, right now. And I'll talk to you soon.